That was incredible, Sachiko. Hi, my name is Kyle Raymond Fitzpatrick. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm in the speculative fiction cohort. Visual description, I'm a white biracial person with greenish hair and black glasses, wearing a light blue polo. My background is a white room with not much in it, except for a round mirror. This is a story called She Opened the Mountain, about a woman tending to her deceased mother's home, located in her mother's homeland. It's being published by Quarterly West. The woman came upon a dark green rock. It was roughly the size of an ostrich egg, and it looked almost black. It was dirty, and after some wiping, she could tell it was something special, a giant version of one of those rocks you might buy at a museum gift shop. It resonated that it was more than a rock. It was a fancy rock. The woman put the rock, looked at it up and down, catching a great view of the island. She could see why the men wanted this land. It would make a great resort or something like that. How much money could she make? She shook her head. This is a family place. This isn't about money, but maybe she would ask. The woman shivered, feeling as if the land were creeping up behind her, trying to grab her, to bury her with all the mothers of her mothers. She took a deep breath and looked at the house, this brown dimple in the rocks leading to green just above the bustling valley in the town. In the far distance were plush hills and more mountains. The seas laid beyond, turning into sky. The woman tapped the rock with a big stick. It really did seem to glow. Maybe these could be used for something. Maybe visitors could mine the mountain. That'd be a great feature, she thought. The woman tapped the rock again. These really are special. She wandered on the mountainside, picking up more and more, larger and larger. She carried them back and made a small pile, a tumbled cairn of rocks. No, not rocks, stones, she thought. She had to find more. She had to get them all together. She had to do something with them to show that the mountain was bigger than people realize. This place was a destination. The stones occupied much of her time. For a week, the woman scaled the mountainside, collecting stones in a sturdy basket. She piled them until they were large enough for her to lean on. She admired the stones as they captured the sun, both opaque and transparent, somewhere between like a glass of wine and a marble. Maybe they were crystals. Maybe this mountain was hiding precious minerals. Maybe the woman was discovering a source of income that her mother and mother's mother and all the mothers before her had overlooked on the land. She should call a geologist. These stones were a key to unlocking the mountain. Of all the beauty in this place, the stones were what made it a spectacle. The woman tried to learn what she could about the land, as there was so little information left to her. The people in the town were kind and helped her put the pieces together. The mountain was more than pretty, they said. It was blessed. Some knew her mother's mother. They said she lived a quiet life, minding her own business, never attracting too much attention. Her mother was the same. So nice, they repeated simply in her language. When she asked about the stones, they turned sour, shaking their heads. What was she talking about? They thought she was crazy. One person told her the stones were all over the island. They weren't special. Another person said she was going to get hurt. Most ignored her. No one seemed to like her in town, unless she was buying something. Her money made her likable, a tourist on an extended stay in the area. Another white person. The woman started digging into the mountain. She used a big stick to excavate, poking around, trying to reveal deposits. It did not matter if these stones were actually precious or not. They were good looking. Their attractiveness was unique, a signal of how great the land was. After weeks of collecting, the pile was as big as a small car and caught the sun in a way that cast rainbows on the ground. The woman admired the collection from points of her mountainside property, from the gate, from the front porch, from her mother's room, from the highest point on the mountain she could climb to. As she tried to figure out what she wanted to do with them, there had to be a job for these rocks. Maybe she could build another house with them, use them to make countertops, grind them into tile, craft them into jewelry. Why hadn't her mother thought to make something of this land? As the men returned, and they always returned, she could tell the stones were catching their eyes. They could see the power her mountain had thanks to the twinkling. The woman had been foolish to leave her secrets out in the open. Don't get any ideas, she told them, banging a pot and pan over her head, running the men back to the gate. This is my land, and yo soy la mama de la montaña. Nunca podrán tener mi montaña. She repeated the phrase to herself, Nunca podrán tener mi montaña, to make sure she was repeating the laptop's translation correctly. La montaña es mía, she yelled. She knew what that meant. The mountain is mine. Out, white men, she yelled, clapping the pot and pan above her head. In her own white fists, she walked back to the door, salt from ocean wind catching her eyes. It stung. Thank you.